Hello and welcome to another tutorial, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make the slash VFX here, like the sword trail, or well, technically it's an axe slash, but an axe trail rather. And yeah, it is actually two different nodes, or it is detached from the character itself. So in this video I'm going to explain how to make the mesh, how to make the custom material, and how to add it to the custom tracks to your animation. And so yeah, let's just get started. Alright, so we are inside Blender now, because the first thing that we need to do is to create the mesh itself for the slash VFX, and then we're gonna texture that later in Godot, inside Godot. So this is just a mesh creation. To make it official, let's just sacrifice everything on the screen, including the default cube, because that's what Blender tutorial does usually. Go to the top view by hitting the numpad 7 there. Let's add a Bezier curve here, Bezier, and let's just make a curve out of it, like so. If you want to add a middle point here, you can go right by clicking right click and then subdivide. Oh, and by the way, I'm editing in edit mode. You hit tab to go to edit mode, and so yeah, and adjust it so it create a nice curvy curve. And let's add another, whoa, what's that? And let's add more circle or more curve, but this one is a circle, and put it a little bit on the side. Maybe make this one a little bit bigger, and then go ahead and edit this one more time in edit mode by clicking tab and make it more oval-ish. So I'm gonna do it like this and make it sharper. Oh, I need to do it one by one. All right, I need to make it sharper here and sharper there. Okay, and maybe make it a little bit smaller then, and also smaller, and make it sharper. So you can go back, or let's rename it for clarity. This one is slash curve, and this one is, how do you rename this one? Or just double click, bevel curve. Right, so go select the slash curve, and then go to this menu over here, object data properties, and then go to the geometry drop down menu, click it, and go to the bevel and go to object. Use the object picker to the bevel curve here. There you go. Now we have a thick curvy curve, and now we are going to adjust the thickness of this end point here. You can adjust it by pressing Alt S. Oh, I'm in edit mode again. Alt S, and then you go like this, and then you can just smooth it out. Maybe make this one is also smaller, I think. You can smooth it out by selecting everything. You can just drag it like that, or press A, and then click on smooth curve radius. Now you have this rather smooth curve. You just adjust more. If you want to edit the shape, let's say, oh yeah, it has like this thick curve. If you want to edit this to make it like it has like a sharper edge to it, you can like make this one a little bit smaller, like really small, and then this one is a little bit sharper on x-axis. There we go. Now you have this like nice looking like sharp bevel, I guess, right? You can also like play around with this one. Let's say if you want the back end of it, or the back tail, I don't know what to call this one, the back side of it is like much longer, you can do that, but I think just keep it rather in a balanced position. There is good. Balanced position, equal distance is good. You can also do that. You can also make this smaller, bigger, it's all up to you. You can just edit this bevel curve to edit the final slash curve over here. Yeah, just minor adjustment. Now what we need to do next is that we need to create, or to convert this to a mesh. You can do that by right clicking and then convert to mesh, but as you might see here, it generates a lot of polygon, and it's not good for your performance because it consumes a lot of performance. And so we need to reduce this numbers of curve, right? How can we do that? So we need to Control Z away off of that. We need to go to the shape option here, and the resolution preview will determine what or how smooth and how many polygons does the curve create the mesh from, out of. Oh, that's a complex sentence. We make it like smaller number, right? Lower number, and maybe 8-ish, because the lower the number, it will become like boxy and jagged or edgy or cornery. I don't know, I ran out of adjective there, like that. So maybe like 8 is good. And also you need to adjust the resolution of the bevel curve, because now it's like 12 and it's too much. I think the lower the number is fine on this one, because, you know, if you care about the smoothness of this curve here, or this mesh, I don't know, this face, I guess, then maybe you want it to be higher, but I guess 3 is enough now. So we can just do that. Now it still look rather nice. Now let's convert that to mesh, and there you go. Now it's last number, and hopefully has a faster performance, right? And the next thing that I usually do, I will just delete the bottom half. Why, you might ask? Because we are going to mirror it with the mirror modifier. So let me just delete that, and there you go. Right, go to mirror modifier. Instead of the x-axis, go to y-axis, or excuse me, z-axis, I mean, and then turn on the clipping. Clipping will make the what do you call this one? The vertices that connected to it, to one another, or to the other side, is stay on that place, right? So you cannot really move it up and down. Why do I do this? Because I want the texture for the top part and the bottom half, or the top half and the bottom half, to be the same way. So if you do not do this, it will not mirror the texture or the UV, and so it will like have a wonky visual to it. But if that's what you want, then you should do it. But I think in this case it works for me like this. The next thing that we need to do is to create, or to manipulate the UV to be a square UV, like this one. Okay, how can I do that? So if you just unwrap it, it will have this shape, and don't worry, it's easy to fix. Go select everything, and then go to, or hit U, and then click on light map pack, go there, and then hit OK. Now it's all squared, but it's all randomized. You know, we don't really know which position of the which coordinate is this cell belongs to. And then we can go like selecting maybe like one not island, what do you call this one, like one face, one quad here, and then select everything, and then hit U, follow active quad, and then maybe set this to even or average. Is up to you. Maybe length average will be nice. Now we have that, and we need to scale it down and to match the UV here. I think even is better though, so maybe let's light map back again. Let's redo that, follow active quad, and then go to even, and then hit OK. Now everything is like evenly like squared. Let's adjust that, and then adjust it manually like so. Get a little bit like that. All right, so this is the top one. So this one is the top one, and then go to the bottom, right? So it's like that. If you want to do that, go ahead, but I want to rotate it. So this one will become the left one, and this one is the right one. So that makes much more sense. Why squaring this UV is important? Because when we add a texture, let's say I have this texture already applied here, and then maybe let's preview it a minute. We're gonna slide these UV coordinates later in the game engine, so, or in Godot via visual shader. So this is what we have, right? So imagine like if the black is the, what is it, the transparent one, and yellow white is the opaque one, so it will like slide like that, right? So we can also manipulate the scale later, but that will be done in game engine. Now we need to keep it like square, like so. So that's the function of making the UV square. Okay, now let's save the project, or the mesh, and then let's click on this, go to file, and then export to waveform obj. Because we don't really have animation, I think this will work just fine. Go there, and then go to selected only, and make sure you selected the mesh that you want to that you want to export. I don't think I want the material, but I think it's just gonna be there either way. So I think it's fine. Just click and export to waveform obj and name it slash. Okay, so that's how we export it. Let's go to the Godot game engine. Alright, so we are now inside Godot, and this is the VFX that we are trying to replicate, and I already imported the obj file to the game engine itself. Now let's just create it, right? Let's start with creating a new scene, and then create a 3D scene, and name this one as slash tutorial. Save it, and then name it slash tutorial is fine. Now I have this obj file. Let's just drag it into the screen, and we already imported it. Next thing that we need to do, just create the material. You can go actually to surface material override or this one. It's all up to you. I think I'm gonna choose this one. New shader material. Click on it, and then click on the shader option. Click on the new shader. I mean, you know the drills, and then just save it into slash tutorial shader to make it clearer. Make sure it is visual shader and then mode spatial. I think it's all fine. Let's create on that, and let's click on it to bring up the visual shader editor. And now let's go ahead and add a texture 2D. Here we go, and make a gradient of it. Gradient texture 1 dimension. Why doesn't it work? There you go. Connect it to alpha. Now you can see it's like more opaque to the tail end rather than to the head there. So let's edit that, maybe slide it a little bit. Okay, make it like so, drag it like that. So there you go. All right. Okay, now we need a way to control this, the motion, you know, like the slashing motion here. So we add a UV here, UV input, and then we try to pan that. UV panning, right? Here and here. And the offset, we just add a float here. Float parameters, and then gradient 1 slider, I think. Just name it that. And then go over here. So I only want it to move on the Y scale, or excuse me, on the X scale. So let's set the Y scale to 0. And if we go to the slash parameter, or the shader parameter here, and then if we slide that, now we can control that. Okay, now there is no moment for the slash to be fully visible and also fully disappeared. So I will fix that by scaling the UV. Add node, and then multiply vector to multiplication. Here we go. Connect it, and then here. So we are going to multiply the X UV scale by 0.25. I think it will work, but let's see. So there is a moment where every slash, or the slash, is just fully opaque and then fully disappear, right? And so if we take a look at the timeline here, or the slider value here, so the fully appear is from 0.15 and then 0.65-ish. 0.65 is fully disappear. We can control that by using the animation player node, and then let's add new animation, and then call this one slash. And if we go to the slash tutorial, what do you call that, mesh? Now, if you go to the animation panel here, if it is on shader, there is maybe that the key will not appear. But if you go to the animation, and it will select, or it will bring up the menu to, or an option to make a keyframe, right? So click on that, say yes, it's okay. Now it's fully disappeared, but that's not the default value. I want it to go from 0. Maybe 0 is not a good number. Or maybe like, yeah, I think -0. -0.05, I think. And click on that. Then go forward a little bit. Oh yeah, I think I want it to be like not too long of a effect. I don't want it to linger too long. And then maybe at 0.05 here. Oh, by the way, you need to turn off the snapping here, or maybe set the snap to like 0.01, so it will like slide like this. And go forward to 0.16, I guess, and then make it disappear, and like so, right? Okay, add more keyframe like that. So if we loop that, it will look like this. Oh, clamp loop. There you go. So it has that movement. So if you see this one, so not only it appears like that, or what is it, accordingly to the slash motion, but it's also move from the inner curve to the outer curve, right? So we can also add that by using the same method, actually. Right, so I added a secondary motion and I fixed some of the error first. So this one, it should not be 0.25 and 0, it should be 0.25 and 1. And this one, I use the 2D texture, gradient 2D instead of gradient texture 1D, right? So this one is that you can modify the direction of the gradient itself. You want to tilt it like this, then you can do that. But this one, I just created it vertically. And also the scaling, I set to 1 to 1 here, but I think can go like 0 to 5 again. And also added the float parameter, or actually not really added, but modify the parameter to rename it by changing it into gradient 2 slider. So if you go to the parameters, shader parameters, where are you? There you go. So now it has this motion that goes from the inner curves to the outer curve, right? Now combining that with the directional, now it created this motion. And so yeah, we can just animate that using the animation here, right? So if we set that, so maybe we gonna use it like so, create the keyframes, and then go ahead and make it the full alpha here, 0.15. Oh, 0.15. There you go. Add a keyframe and then go over here and then make it like disappear that way, right? You can also make it like not really disappearing like that. It disappear like that. It appears with the direction of the slash, or the motion of the slash, but it disappear by going from the inner curve to the outer curve. So basically like that. To recolor it, of course, you need to add more nodes to the shader. Right, I think we can just connect this one to this one. Then I copy this multiply with, or connect this to this and there, and then add a node. Excuse me, add a node with color parameters. Then call this one color, and then connect it over there, and set this one maybe to, I don't know, whatever color that you want it. Maybe like so. All right. So after finishing the shader material and animate it with the animation node, the next thing that you need to do is you need to code it, or add a code to your VFX, right? Create. This is why like VFX art is like a little bit weird in gaming industry, because you're gonna need to know like some code. But anyway, that's my complaint. So we need to export a variable. Oh, now it's different. So add export a variable and name it a play thing. And that would work. And maybe set it to false. And let's add a physics function, physics process function. Physics process delta, and then if play equal to true, then your animation player should play the animation. Which animation? Of course, slash, right? Let's save it. So in this case, oh, the export is false. Okay, I forgot. There you go. So now this play variable is actually accessible for the animation node to be controlled, right? So the physics process says if the play is equal to true, then you need to play the animation slash. And in the animation slash, you need to stop it from playing. Now let's go to hit the keyframe here and then create. So now when it reached this timeline, when the timeline reached this time, the timeline time, too many times there, it will stop, or it will make the variable, the play variable, equal to false, and it will stop the animation. It will stop the animation. Now that would be good, right? Okay, all right, so the next part is that we need to integrate our slash VFX here to the character animation that we already have, right? So in this case, actually, I have all these slash objects. I instantiate all these slash object to my scene. So it's like this one is slash number 1, is slash number 2, and this one like the double slash from heavy slash, right? So a lot of slashes here. And why don't I just create like one slash and then animate that with 4 different slashes? That will be complicated because you need to rotate it, and then you need to put in the correct position. So when it's over like correct scale, and also it's kind of hard to customize. But anyway, so I'm just made it like into different slashes here. Oh, and one thing for sure, you need to make like the where is it? Oops. This resource local to scene. I forgot to do that. Why? Because if you don't make it local to scene, then this animation, this value will be shared amongst every shader, that every object that uses this shader. So that's really important. Okay, so make the resource local to scene. So anyway, I'm here, or not here, but I'm in the character. So now with the animation player, let's take a look at the animation one. So I added a track for the play here. So from this is the active frame of my slash. Then I want the slash to appear. So that's when it plays. So after several seconds or milliseconds here, the slash animation will stop itself because it has the variable controller, right? So it will stop here, and then yeah, it will reset from 0 if I called it the play again. So that's basically it. But one important thing is that when you import your model, so where's my model? Here's the GLB. Go to import and go to advance. You need to go to this individual animation track and go to this keep custom track and hit OK, and then save to file also enable, and then set the directory for the animation to be saved at, right? Because if you don't do this, then you will not be able to save the custom track, which is this one, the play slash or the what is it, the play variable here. So you need to do that for every single track or every single animation that you want to add custom track to. So yeah, so that's basically it. And with that being said, that's all. Oh, this just looks weird because I haven't activated the animation system here. So that's basically it for the slashing animation. I know VFX work in video game is not like VFX work in video, like production, because we need to know a little bit of programming here and there. And yeah, so thank you so much for watching, and if you guys love it, don't forget to like and subscribe and all that jazz, and leave a comment below. What do you want to know, or what do you want to me to make the tutorial about? And so yeah, bye bye. It's late in my time and kind of ramble around, and so I don't know, just have a nice evening, have a nice night, have a nice morning. Thank you.